Good evening. My name's Robin Holt and I'm a practitioner here at Seaside, and we have a couple of announcements tonight. So next week we are switching off and practicing the principles with Reverend Debbie McDonnell. Next Tuesday, February the 3rd, practitioner Ginny Mills will be running a workshop called The Power of Decision, based on the book by Raymond Charles Barker, and runs for 8 weeks and starts next Tuesday, and it runs from 6 o'clock in the evening till 8:30. On February the 6th, we have a concert next Friday, actually a week from Friday, February the 6th at 7:30, Joe Garrison and the Night People, and that's San Diego's all-original large jazz ensemble will be here at Seaside. On Saturday, February the 7th, Ginny Mills will be teaching the Spiritual Mind Treatment Workshop from 9 a.m. till 1 p.m. So if you have an interest in learning how to do the affirmative prayer that we do here at Seaside, that's a workshop that will teach you how to do that. On Sunday, February the 8th, we have a concert again at 1:30 p.m. after second service. Michael Paul Smith, that's his tribute to the great American singer Paul Robeson. Should be something really amazing. On Thursday, March the 5th, we have another workshop, I Love Drawing Boundaries, with practitioner Sharon Bagley and Reverend Laurie Mack, which is about standing in your authentic power using the religious science principles. And lastly, but by no means least, on Friday, March the 13th, Dancers of Universal Peace with Reverend Laurie Mack, Christine Stevens, and a 4-piece Sufi band. Sounds very fascinating. Simple songs and dances honouring all paths to God. So there are our announcements for this week. Thank you.
Oh, no. Let's wait.
Good evening. Hi. I'm Gloria Taylor. I'm a singer-songwriter, and this is my beautiful friend, Johnny Fiddle, we're calling her. First song I'm going to do is an original song called Go for the Moon. Takes you to know yourself, show up and hold up and see what else, call it and own it and throw yourself in and go for the moon, go for the moon. A little bit every day. The light and the shadows will always play. See it and be it and rope it in close and go for the moon. Go for the moon. Go go for the moon. Go for the moon. Go for the moon. The moon. The moon.
Thank you. Welcome to Practicing the Presence. My name is Reverend Lori McMacken. So we come together as one to lift you up, to allow you to grow in your spiritual awareness and tap into those fields of infinite possibilities that are seeking to emerge within your life. This is a candle lighting service. And tonight I'm going to ask you to come to this candle lighting service with an intention that is an eternal quality of God, to maybe have more love or joy, peacefulness, wholeness, abundance in your life. And as you light your candle within and open your heart. So please come forward and light your candle as we practice the presence together.
I am here, I'm over there, I'm everywhere. Long ago, I knew you everywhere. Their soul agreed to lift their hearts and free their minds. Everywhere, everywhere. All it took was just a few waves of light and hearts that knew were called to stand for what is true. I had a dream. I woke up everywhere, and in the dream I saw you everywhere.
Thank you. That was beautiful. So this is the time that we practice the silence, and I invite you to close your eyes and to go within and just breathe into the pathway of your heart and to think of something or someone that you have great gratitude and great love for in your life, and to just allow that feeling to expand in your heart and to emanate throughout your whole body as we practice the silence together.
as I am filled with the presence, as I sense the presence in every cell of my body, in the reverberation of the strings of the harp, in the reverberation of the gong, I truly know there is only one mind, one spirit, one life, and that's God. And in God is all. There's no place that God is not. Always and in all ways, God is present. And I know that this evening is an evening in which each of us attends to the presence of God as each of us, and attends also to our intentions for where our focus goes, where our attention goes. As it goes to God, our intentions for love, for peace, for joy, for wholeness, for revealing the truth of ourselves is made manifest more abundantly, more easily, more readily. And I know that that's what happens this evening in this service. And taking a deep breath, I say thank you. My name is Candace Young-Schult, and I'm a master practitioner here at Seaside. There are over 40 practitioners here, almost 50. And we are here because we love to pray, because we love to know the presence of God in and as each and every one of us. And if there's anything going on in your life that you'd like to celebrate, or that's heavy on your heart, please don't leave tonight without seeing one of us. We will be in the prayer chapel just off the foyer, and we would love to pray with you. It is our privilege and joy to do so. If you want a prayer, and if you want continuing prayer during the week, you may fill out a prayer request and put it in the prayer request box in the back of the sanctuary or in the front hall, and then all the practitioners will pray on that in confidence. And now, I have one of my favorite readings. This is from an author some of you may or may not know. She's been around for a while, called Sanana Roman. The title of the book is Living with Joy, Keys to Personal Power and Spiritual Transformation. Whatever you pay attention to is what you create. If you spend time feeling bad about something you did, feeling that you were not powerful, or that you did not say the right thing, or if you focus on the things you are not, you increase their power over you. Instead, recognize the qualities you have. Take the things you want to become and remember those times when you demonstrated those qualities. The more you see within yourself what you want to become, the more you will become it. If you say to yourself, I have no willpower, I never get things done, then you're simply sending that energy out into the future. If, on the other hand, you begin saying to yourself, I love the way I act around people, I have so much willpower, I am so focused, you will experience a new energy coming up from within. You will find yourself becoming that quality. Every time you have a negative image of yourself, saying things such as, I never get things done, I don't have enough time, you send out an image to the world, broadcast that quality, and create that circumstance in your life. If you say positive things about yourself, you will become them also. Very enlightened and evolved souls know how to show their greatness and power and not create defensiveness, but devotion. If you want people to respect and look up to you, know that it will not happen because you walk around telling everyone how great you are. You've seen people who do that. They invite attack. You've also seen people who are truly evolved, who smile, who recognize greatness in other people, whose focus is assisting and helping. That is true power. It comes from the inner image you hold of yourself. You do not need to tell people if you're peaceful or focused. They know it. Communication is telepathic, and so it is.
So we're going to do a call and response song that I wrote. And it goes like this. I say I am, and then you say I am, and then we sing the rest of the song together. So hold on 1 second. Give you an example. So I'm going to go, I am. You go, I am. Living light, oh, I am. I am. There you go, good, okay. All right, just want to make sure you had it. Okay. Oh, thank you. All right. I am living light 'cause I am living light, oh I am living light, living love, I am living love, oh I am living love, I am living love. In my life, I'm here to be the change. It starts with me. I am living peace. I am living peace. Oh, I am living peace. Oh, I am living peace. Living light, oh I am, oh living light, oh I am, living light.
Wow. Thank you. Wow, I have beautiful people with me tonight, don't I? So talented. Gloria and Johnny and Jerry and Kay and Candace and Robin. This is just wonderful. And thank you, Seaside, for being here tonight. I'm loving being with you on Wednesday nights. And today, the seeds of freedom that I am planting is attention to your intention. And you were saying, I am. And when we say I am, we're saying that I am one with God. I am one with all of life. And when we bring our attention to our intention, we are tapping into that power of the divine I amness. because the intention is everywhere present, is omnipresent, just like God. The intention is in the sky, it's in the stars, it's in the moon, it's in the sun. Intention is in the mountains, it's in the living waters. Intention is in the plants and the animals and the minerals, and the intention lives within you. The intention is within me, because the intention is the movement of God. It's a progressive divine movement of spirit. We see intention moving when the day turns into the night and the night turns into the day. We see intention when the snow melts from the mountain and turns into a waterfall. We see intention when a apple blossom turns into an apple, or a cocoon turns into a beautiful butterfly. The intention is within you when you were conceived and you came into this world as a divine, individualized expression of God. And we move through life, and then we move into spirit in transition. And that's the intention of spirit in our lives. But we're human beings, and we have free will and we have free choice. And we can decide at any time to live from a higher intention, to live from the calling of God, to live from love, to live from joy, to live from wholeness, to live from abundance, to live from grace. And just to live, to know the presence of God as our life. And when we live from that higher intention, we tap into the infinite field of possibilities, and we allow that to express out into our lives. You know, just recently I have a mastermind group of women that I gather with, and we talk on the phone, and each week then we gather, someone else facilitates the call. And in December, right before January, one of the girls says, let's go around the circle and talk about our goals for 2015. And finally, I was the last one, and it got to me, and I said, you know, I'm a little bit embarrassed, but I don't really have any goals anymore. I used to have a lot of goals, but I have intentions. And then when I live by these intentions and I open up and I just allow the expression of spirit to come into my life for whatever I'm projecting. And one of the girls said to me, well, are you saying that instead of having and doing and being, that you be, do, and have? And I said, yeah. I think you're right. I set the intention. I become what it is I want to become, and I live in that progressive field. It's a natural progressive field that you're living in when you're living from a higher intention. And so in the new year, when you're setting your New Year's resolutions or you're setting your goals, what happens is the third week of January, the statistics say that only 44% of the New Year's resolutions are still intact. And the reason is because we have this sphere of acceptance. That each person has a sphere of acceptance. So if you set a New Year's resolution to lose 30 pounds and you try it for a week, oh, forget it, I'm not going to do it. Or you want to lose 30 pounds and you lose the weight, but it's not in your sphere of acceptance, what happens is that you gain the weight back. Now, a sphere of acceptance is something that everyone here has, and it's an invisible sphere within ourselves that we decide what we can have in the universe. We decide how much abundance is going to be ours, or how much health is going to be ours, or how much wealth, or how much love, or how much joy is going to be ours in the world. And so we know that within this teaching that everything is infinite and is abundant and it's inexhaustible. But it's only us that we put our own boundaries on what we can have and what we can't have, right? So why is the world infinite, but I'm only making 20 grand a year? I didn't understand that, because we have this sphere of acceptance. But we can make another choice. We can decide to open that sphere of acceptance. And we do that by bringing our attention into our intention. And the tension would be the quality of God. If it is abundance, it could be anything we're talking about. We just know that our intention is to live in that divine abundance. So what we do is we talk about it and we think about it and read about it. And we're with like-minded people. And what happens, our sphere of acceptance opens up and we walk gradually and naturally into our greatness. And this is when we tap into that field of infinite possibilities, infinite potentiality. So I have an aunt that had passed away, but you see, she had a small sphere of acceptance. And at one time in her life, she received a windfall of money from an inheritance. But what happened 2 years later is that all the money was gone, and she was back into his sphere of acceptance, what she accepted in her life. And it is known that if we take all the money in the world and we spread it out through everyone, everyone is equal amount of money, within 3 years, everyone will have the same amount of money, because this is an energetic field, the field of intention that we're dealing with. And whatever you receive is righteous, is what you believe that you can receive. But when we're conscious livers and we understand the nature of God and how it works, we can decide to open our sphere of acceptance and have more in our lives. For 20 years, I was a professional dancer, and 16 of those years I danced with the Radio City Music Hall Rockettes. And I would have contracts that I had to sign. And before I signed those contracts, I would have to weigh in. Now, we know no chick likes to weigh in, okay? But that was part of the job. So 2 days before I had to weigh in, before I had to sign my contract, I would weigh in. And I was usually rocking the boat at the top of my 10-pound weight range. And so that made me a little nervous, but I was going to work. So I would do things like not eat for 2 days and take water pills and do whatever I could to get into that weight range so I can sign that contract. And I did manage that. But when you're working like that for 20 years, there comes a time in your life when you realize that that is the definition of insanity, right? I can no longer do that. I now have to make a change in my life. So when I was on tour with them, I had a teacher in Northern California that was a Whole Foods teacher. He was the flax man and the spirulina man, and I learned how to eat correctly. And so what happened is I opened my sphere of acceptance into this natural food industry, and then when I weighed in, I was weighing in at the bottom of my weight. Matter of fact, okay, I could say this once. One time I had to wear weights around my waist with a long T-shirt over it just so I can get into my weight range. I can't say that today, but that did happen once. And I remember, and I'm proud of it. So I guess the point that I'm making is that when I came from the intention of living from wholeness, I gradually and progressively moved into that space and walked into that space of wholeness. And that's how we set a higher intention. So I was surfing the net and about intention, and one of our greatest teachers today of the power of intention, there's two of them, but one of them is Deepak Chopra. And I ran into his daughter. She's 40 years old, and she has 2 children. And there was an interview that she was doing, and she has a blog called intentblog.com. And she was saying that growing up with Deepak, of course, he was like a regular father, but there was one time where he hit ground zero because he was a stressed out, workaholic doctor. So life became really hard for him, and he had to make a shift. He had to make a change. And he started to meditate, and he started to cultivate a practice of intentions. And because his life became so free and he became liberated, his wife was so happy, of course, when she saw him like that she started this practice also. And then he taught his family the practice. And as his sphere of acceptance opened, he taught his community the practice. And then all of a sudden he has this healing center, of course, around the block in La Costa, and he teaches the rich and the famous this practice. And now when he's opened up his sphere of acceptance and he's walked into his greatness, we can call him Deepak Oprah, right? But the great thing about him is that he teaches the whole world how to meditate. He teaches the whole world how to live from a higher intention, and they listen to him because we need to listen to him, because this intention is the intention of the divine spirit working in our lives. It's actually so beautiful. I remember when I first started the religious science teaching, I had teachers that were like, you have to learn how to meditate. You have to learn how to meditate. If you want to know your maker, you have to learn how to meditate. And this was difficult for an ADD type person, for me, you know? So I would lay down, I'd try to meditate, and I'd fall asleep. And they're like, no, you can't lay down when you're meditating. You have to stand up and you have to pay attention. So I would sit up and try to meditate, and I'd do the whiplash. You ever get the spiritual whiplash when you try to meditate? That wasn't working either. So I decided to do the 40 Days of Abundance, John Randolph Price, okay? And so I just took his formula. So what I would do is the first day I would take an affirmation, I would say it for 3 minutes, I'd meditate for 1 minute. And the second day, I would meditate for 2 minutes, or do the affirmation for 2 minutes and have silence for 2 minutes. The third day, affirmation for 3 minutes and silence for 3 minutes, all the way up to 40 days. So when I got to 40 days, because my intention was to know the presence of God in my life, I was craving meditation, and I love it. And Ralph Waldo Emerson says, a good intention is clothed with sudden power. And this is exactly what happened, because on day 28, I had this spiritual opening. Oh my God, I couldn't believe it. I had this expansion. Well, I finally understood and embodied my oneness with God. I knew that I was one with all of life and everyone in my family and in the world. I was one with the trees and the bees and the flowers. And I was so happy running around. My boyfriend thought I was crazy. And I was writing. I don't write. And I was writing poetry. I don't write poetry. All these things were just flowing through me. And I was like a newborn Christian is what I was, but I was born again. I was born again because I recognized my essence with the divine spirit, and ever since then it's just pulling and pulling and pulling. And you know, Foundations class is one of the most exciting classes that you can take here. Because when you're in Foundations class, you are on honeymoon with God. You know that your thoughts create your reality, and you can take responsibility for anything in your life. And all of a sudden you realize, oh my God, I can create a new job, and I can create a new car, and I can create all this money. So it's a beautiful honeymoon. But then after that, you start hitting the wall, right? You're not sure why you're hitting the wall, but you're hitting the wall. The honeymoon's over. Because you think that you know how to create everything. You think that you are the creator. So when you say, okay, this is what I want and this is how I'm going to get it, and it doesn't happen, you can't figure it out. And that's when you realize you're ready to go into the next step. You're ready to allow Spirit to give you whatever it is that you want. You're ready to give up control. And when you think you figure out how you can get things, you are collapsing the fields of infinite possibilities, infinite potentiality. When you recognize and you understand that God is your life and you are the life of God, and you open yourself up to Spirit and you give up control, you're allowing all the good to come into your life. So when we set an intention, and that intention is the life of God, and that intention is honored by God, what happens is you progressively walk and work through this intention. You open up the sphere of acceptance, and you walk into your greatness. Seek ye the kingdom of God, and all things will be given unto you, right? Seek ye the kingdom of God, and all things will be added unto you. The book of Matthew in the Holy Bible. It is so true. So when we stay connected to that divine spirit and we just allow the expression of God to move through us, and we move in this natural progression of the universe, we step in to our universal good. The book of Matthew is beautiful. I actually have a nephew named Matthew. And when he came into the world, he felt a little cheated by the choice of his family that was given to him. And, you know, I don't blame him. Sometimes I felt like that at one time, but you realize eventually that that choice was the greatest gift in your life. Your family has always been the greatest gift, even when they don't seem like it in the moment. And when he was 18 years old, I decided that I had to have the talk with Matthew. You know what I'm saying? The talk. So I gave the talk to him and his sister. Not that talk, another talk. The talk, yeah. I had to give him the money talk, all right? The money talk. So I saw him as being a young aspiring millionaire to be. I saw the aspiration of money and freedom in his life. So I gave him all the books that a young millionaire should have. The books are Rich Dad, Poor Dad, Think and Grow Rich, and The Richest Man in Babylon. These are the 3 books to give to a young, aspiring person who wants to learn about money. And he liked the books, but he was 18 years old and he didn't have a rational mind in his head. It was all about sex, drugs, and rock and roll, right? So even though he read the books and he liked them, he would call me and talk to me about them throughout the years. At the time, I don't think that was in his head. But I wasn't too bright myself because I thought, well, I gave him the books. Now I'm going to give him a vehicle so he has a path to freedom. So I bought him a car. Oh, boy. You're laughing. You know what happened, right? 2 months later, that car was crashed, and it was the party mobile, right? So it wasn't in his sphere of acceptance at the time, right? So he was actually traveling down the wrong road. He looked like he was going to become jailbait, unfortunately. And this is not what we wanted for him, but this is the route that he was going. And my other sister, his other aunt, is a warden of 3 high maximum prisons in Phoenix, and she thought that he was going to be her next customer. So he did come to a roadblock, okay? And he didn't go to prison, thank God, but he did go to war, so I'm not sure which one's worse. And he did a tour in Iraq, and he did a tour in Iran, and he saw things that no person should ever see. You know, he saw children running around who didn't have parents because their parents were just blown up, where he saw people starving to death, and he saw killings, and these are things that I wouldn't want to wish upon anyone. And if we all practiced that intention of peace, we know that war is not God ordained. So when he came back to the United States, he had a turning point moment where he could go down the same road he was driving, right, and go down the rabbit hole, or he can decide to make a change in his life. He can live from a higher intention. And he decided to live from a higher intention. He decided to create the family that he always wanted. And he got married, and he has 2 beautiful children, and he built a 3,000 square foot home, and he has 17 acres, and he has every farm animal you can imagine, and he has his own fishing hole, and he's living. He just opened his sphere of acceptance and allowed the universal good into his life. And just last week, I heard that he graduated magna cum laude, and he's going for his master's, and then he's going to become a real estate person, and he's going to become a broker, and then he's going to open his sphere of acceptance, and he's going to walk into his greatness. Because that's all we want for our children, right? We just want them to live from the higher possibilities of life. That's all we want for ourselves. And we want that for ourselves, then we teach that to our family, and then we teach that to our community, and then we become that in the world. It's a ripple effect of living from a high intention, from intention of love, an intention of joy, an intention of peace, an intention of forgiveness. So what is it in your life that you can live from a higher intention? Where is it your sphere of acceptance that needs to be open and you can walk into it? Because the universe is going to say yes. Once you put your attention onto it and it's a higher quality and you allow that natural motion of the universe to unfold and to evolve, the universe is going to say yes. So I invite you to come together as one with me in silence. As I recognize there is only one power, one presence, and one infinite expression of life. I know that that life force flows through me. I know that life force flows through each and every person here. And what I know for each person here is that they open their sphere of acceptance. And they allow that divine intention to be a part of their life. And they allow that movement, that natural movement of spirit to express through them as they walk into their greatness. And so it is. Thank you. The light within me honors the magnificent light within you.
This is a Kundalini yoga song, a devotional song called Every Heartbeat.
Every heartbeat is God's name to me. Every breath of life is ecstasy. Every heartbeat is God's name
to me. Every breath of life is ecstasy. Every heartbeat is God's name to me. Every breath of life is ecstasy.
Thank you. Beautiful. So now is the time for our sacred giving, and I invite you to take your gift in your hand, and I invite the ushers to come forward. So this is the time where we give back to our community, knowing that you have been spiritually fed and then you spiritually feed your community back. And that we live in this infinite flow as a demonstration of the infinite flow in your life. So I invite you to take your gift and put it over your heart as we go within. I'm just grateful for these gifts that are given to this beautiful center called Seaside Center for Spiritual Living, knowing that each person here lives in this divine abundance. This divine abundance is ever flowing and ever growing in every way, knowing that these gifts are blessed and they do good work in the world and they multiply abundantly. And so it is. Thank you.
I freely give, and I freely receive. I'm immersed in the universal flow. I freely give, and I freely receive. Oh, I'm immersed in the universal flow. I freely give, and I freely receive. Oh, I'm immersed in the universal flow. Da, 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 da.
Thank you. That was beautiful. Thank you very much. So this is the time where we do a circle of love prayer, where you can bring someone in your life into the consciousness of the circle. Within the consciousness, we're going to make a circle of love. And think of someone in your life that may need a healing at this point. It could be you, or it could be a family member, someone you love, or someone you know. And as you think of this person, just raise your hand, and I'll point at you, and I'll ring the bell, and we'll ring that in the honor of their name into this sacred space. And at this time, I'm going to name Matthew and his family.
I celebrate Catherine Aquino.
Beautiful. We have a lot of votes for that. So I invite you to close your eyes and to come within. For the circle of love is complete. It includes all, that binds all together with cords of everlasting unity. I cannot depart from his presence nor wander from its care. The circle of love is complete within me. The circle of love is complete within the consciousness of the room. As we raise those that we love high into the essence of love and wholeness, I know there is no dis-ease, no discord or disharmony in any ways. It is all dissipated in the light of the divine spirit. For I know where their God is, there is a healing, and there is the essence of healing right here and right now, and so it is. Thank you. I have so many thank yous to give and gratitude for tonight. It was such a beautiful night. We had so many beautiful people here. I would like to thank practitioner Victoria Woods for holding us in light, for Candace Schultz for grounding us in spirit, practitioner Kay Samuelson for sharing her Chow Gong talents, practitioner and minister to be Robin Holt for being the announcer. We have Ginny Mills, master practitioner, for coordinating this evening. And we also have Gregory Neville and Melanie Bennett on sound and on camera. And Gregory, my mother loves you. And we also our beautiful musicians. Jerry, you're absolutely gorgeous. Thank you for sharing your talent. And Johnny, you were beautiful. And Gloria, absolutely gorgeous. Thank you so much. Really appreciate it. I am going to Cancun to dance with the Sufis for 10 days. I'm going to be dancing for universal peace. It's going to be very exciting. And this last song I would like you to join me in is one of my favorite Sufi dances. And it is a Sufi sentiment, a Buddhist prayer, and a Christian blessing. May all beings be well and happy. May all beings be free from strife. May all beings return to love. Peace be with you forevermore. So please stand and hang on to hands. And Gloria and Johnny will lead us.
Oh, may all beings be well and happy. Oh, may all beings be free from strife. May all beings freely into love. Peace be with you forevermore. Oh, may all beings be well and happy. Oh, may all beings be free from strife. May all beings return to love. Peace be with you forevermore. Peace be with you forevermore. Thank you, thank you.